Please do better. Please do better for me. Thank you. Thank you. Hi guys, what's up? It's Summer. Welcome, or perhaps welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books, all the books that I read for June. The first book I read was She Gets the Girl. This isn't in any order, by the way, because I really don't remember what order I read the book, but I'm going to start with this one first. Okay, so this book is about Molly and Alex. So Alex recently just got out of a breakup, and she's kind of seen as like the player type of girl. She recently broke up with Natalie, but she wants to be with Natalie again. She has like really bad home life problems. She kind of has had to grow up faster than she needed to. She's honestly in a toxic relationship that she kind of wants back, to be quite frank. Okay. But anyways, she goes to school with this girl. She's starting college. She's about to get a fresh start in life with this girl named Molly. And Molly is an extreme introvert. Like, she's only had her mom as a best friend her whole life, but for college she wants it to be different. She doesn't want to just have her mom as her best friend. So she wants friends so badly, and she also meets her crush from high school. She ends up going to the same school that she does. So since Alex is a player, she offers to help Molly get her crush, Cora, I believe is her name. And between there, they end up kind of being friends, because low-key Alex kind of needs friends too, because she doesn't really date people. She just kind of like hooks up with people. And the cover is really cute, by the way. But I thought this book was really cute. It's obviously kind of predictable. So now moving on to the next book. I finished reading A Show for Two, and this was on my most anticipated release. And I really enjoyed this book. I wanted more from this book than it could have delivered. So let's talk about the positive things of this book. So this story follows Mina and Emmett. Sorry, forgot the names for a second. So Mina is trying to win this film competition, and she ends up meeting Emmett, who's like a known heartbreaker. He's a known heartbreaker, but he's an indie film star, and she really needs him to star in her film so that way they can have like a higher chance of winning. I believe if she wins the film, she wins money, or she has some type of bet with her parents, because her dream is to go to this college to be able to leave New York. She wants to go to a college in LA, I believe, because she really wants to escape her home life. Her home life isn't really the best, and Emmett agrees to help her under the circumstances that she helps him with his photography. He's really into photography. And this really discusses a lot about, for a lot of people, home doesn't have to be like your actual home setting. And I think a lot of people think you have to have like this ideal thing of being attached to people in your home, and that's not everyone's reality. It's kind of really sad because it discusses a lot about how a lot of the times unconditional love isn't something that is always offered to people from their parent guardians. Also, I know a lot of people are just like, Mina is some way, but I really appreciated how caring and considerate. There are multiple, or maybe a few scenes where before she gives her advice, the first thing that she says is, will you be in trouble? Are you going to be in some type of serious harm? To where you would be kicked out, or to where you would be, whatever your circumstances might be. Like, if you continue to do this, will this be a lifestyle that would actually be dangerous for you, or something like that? Like, she asks questions before she gives advice. And I think that's something that's like really important and actually kind of really mature for someone of her age, just because I think it's really easy to just give any type of advice to people when you don't know their home life, or you don't know their circumstances. Like, you don't know if something that you could tell someone would get them kicked out, or would get them abused, or whatever the situation might be. You have no idea. And so the fact that she asked questions to just kind of confirm, I thought showed a lot of her character, of how considerate and thoughtful that she was. I really enjoyed the ending of this book, but I'm not gonna lie, I wanted more tension and I wanted more drama between Emmett and her, because Emmett's supposed to be a heartbreaker. Like, he's supposed to be able to get any girl that he wants, since he's a film star maker and all of this. And I needed more. I needed more tension and drama. Did I want it more prolonged? I kind of did. I really did, because I wanted to actually see that more intensified. Is there something wrong with me? Probably, maybe, but I just wanted more of that drama aspect. I wanted him at the end to choose her, like, obviously, but at the same time, sir, you're a heartbreaker. You're a film star. You're about to star in the biggest movie that's compared to Marvel. I wanted you to be capable of more. The next book I read is Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you already know I've been raving about this book. It's the books that Joya is giving all of these teens that are being able to grow up and have this on shelves to read. The fact that it's even possible that teens nowadays get to read stuff like this before actually having to experience it, or before actually having to ask so many other people questions, or just blows me away, especially in the Black community, because the Black community doesn't talk about anything. So the fact that Joya is really out here being like, you know what, my girls need this, okay? My girls need this, and I'm gonna put this out on shelves. I'm just immediately, yes. So I know that you guys have probably already heard about this book, but it's about this girl that her dad's a preacher, and Monique is her name. Monique is her name. I want to get my own copy. This is still the library's copy, but her dad's a preacher, and her mom is kind of the typical stern Black mom. She's dating this guy that her dad loves. He thinks that he's perfect, and honestly she thinks that he's perfect because she's a teenager and she's young. So she's been with him for 2 years, and he's not really, there's something wrong with the man, as there are most men, boys. And he feels as though he just deserves her body because he's been with her for 2 years. So really throughout this journey, she discovers friendship, she discovers self-worth, the importance of like a boy or a man just not being like entitled to a woman's body. She discovers the importance of women's health and just being able to have access to an OBGYN and not having that just restricted just because the idea of, oh, like, I don't want you having sex so you can't even go to OBGYN because there might be something else wrong with you in general is just very, very not okay. And the fact that this is discussed is very, very important because she feels as though she's not being supported in any type of ways. And that's something that's just kind of like an automatic thing, is that, oh, like, I don't want to take you to OBGYN despite if there's something actually wrong with you, because if I take you to get some type of health, if you might have some type of health concern, then you might think that that's a check off for you to be able to do whatever you want with your body, which it is your body, but like, okay. So anyways, but this just discussed so much, and I just highly 10 out of 10 recommend that you read. Again, I know we already have this conversation, or not we already have this conversation, but I know a lot of people are getting sick of YA, but this is actually like a YA book that I feel like is worth reading because I don't even feel like I've read this in adult bookshop, to be quite honest. And the way that this was handled so well, just read it. So the next book I read is The Lesbians Guide to Catholic School, I believe is what it's called. Gonna put it here. Definitely read the content warnings. First off, I want to say the family depiction in this book, or the sibling depiction in this book, is really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. So this book is about Yami, and Yami decides that she's gonna go to this lesbian Catholic school when she's been outed by her friend. She's 100% sure that she's a lesbian. Like, there's not really any doubting it. It's kind of humorous in a way because she kind of like, there's certain stuff that she goes through that she's like, okay, be straight, act straight though. But she's kind of just being like sarcastic with herself, like she knows that she's not straight. So going through this experience, she experiences a lot of like internalized homophobia. She is terrified to come out to her parents. She's low-key saving just in case her parents kick her out. This was a really hard book to read in ways. Like, there are some parts that are just like really sweet and really like wholesome, and you're happy to see that there are people that actually care about her and care about them. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to read in certain parts because people are unfortunately people. So but yeah, there is suicide warnings, just to let you guys know, for those of you that are very like not okay with that. That's what I'm gonna say. for that part. You guys can read the content warnings if you would like. I know a lot of people think content warnings are spoilers, but just for people to be sure. She meets this girl named Bo, and Bo is very outspoken. She talks about like abortion. She talks about racism. She's a Chinese American, I believe. Yami is a Mexican American, but Bo is out and she's proud. And I think Bo is adopted by white people, I believe. I think so. But Bo is she's just this very chill girl that she's out. She's very outspoken, and she's also just kind of one of those people that's just not really about she's really not about the bull crap. She's not about the bull crap. She's just not. I really enjoyed reading about her as a character, actually. She's kind of funny. But anyways, so yes, I thought this was a really good book. And I think that's all I had to say about it. I read it a while ago. It's been a little minute. But if I have any extra thoughts that I did not say, I will definitely put it on the screen. We're gonna go to the adult books that I read. The next book I read was I'm So Not Over You, and this is about Hudson and Kian. I kid y'all not, I literally started this book in February, and I just now finished it in June because that's how much I wanted to DNF it. It just was not giving me what I wanted it to give. But am I still gonna read his new upcoming book? I am. I am still gonna read it though. I would be lying if I said I wasn't. I still want to give it a chance, but the thing that bothered me the most about this book is that we still don't know why they broke up. To this, like, does anybody know? Like, did I miss something? Because we still don't know why they broke up. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I know we see the cover, and I was here for it. I started reading it in February because of the cover. I got it from my library, requested that my library get this because of the cover. But throughout reading it, the whole time, like in between reading it, I kept visualizing Hudson as a white guy. It was times when Kian, because Kian talks a lot, very much so, and it was times when he would say stuff about like him being black, or like black people doing this, or like his family having money and doing this, that I had to realize that he was definitely not white. I just didn't like how it honestly just seemed like Hudson did not care. Like, it really seemed like he never loved Kian because he wasn't even with him. Like, he didn't even, first off, there was no reasonable explanation why they broke up. And then second off, it just genuinely did not seem like he loved him. It just genuinely did not seem like he loved him. It seemed like no effort. And it was so, at that point, it was just really sad because it was like Kian kept pouring out his feelings, and it was like he just kept on. It was very evident that he really, really wanted to be with him. But Hudson was just Hudson, and I could not fall behind that. I personally don't even enjoy romances. I actually have just been reading a lot of romances because it's been people of color authors that have been releasing new books, and I told myself I'm gonna give it a chance. But at the same time, that was just sad. It was just sad seeming as if someone doesn't actually care about someone, or someone doesn't actually love someone. I feel like money was discussed a lot. There was a conversation where Kian said, I feel like everyone that gets in this position of power has to screw someone over somehow. And then he starts talking about how like a lot of inheritedly rich white people, how a lot of them got from the process of having to screw people over and like con people over, or like do this or do that. And then he says, but for black people, how, I don't want to say like how is it done? I don't know what page it was on. But I do remember it was kind of a discussion. That was the only mention of money that I actually kind of thought was like, that's actually a good question, Kian, because that's actually a point. But that's a point. Other than that, I just don't understand how he was so in love with Hudson, but money was still such a huge thing for him. Really, the amount of time, and I don't want to tear this book apart. I don't, because I understand it's a debut novel, but the amount of times that it was just discussed, like, oh, like Hudson has money, Hudson has money, Hudson has money, Hudson has money. Even Hudson himself, I have money, I have money, I have money, I have money. And it's just like, but we got that. But we got it. If it was just something that was just the first or second chapter, I would understand. But it was just something that was like all throughout the book. It's a 337 page book. Maybe I just got a little bit too much of it. I did enjoy Kian's perspective on North Carolina and also Boston, and just hearing his perspective between that. I thought that was nice. I really enjoyed his friend group. I thought his friend group was really nice. But if you guys still find this interesting and you would like to pick it up, I'm saying give it a chance. Maybe it's just me that just kind of felt like that. But I did start this in February and I really didn't. I stopped at maybe chapter 5 and I didn't start back picking it up and start back reading it to finish reading it until June. But I did read it though. So, yes, I think I gave this book a 2 or 2.5 stars. I'm not really sure. I have a Storygram and a Goodreads that I try to keep updated, but I don't always keep updated. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you check that out. All right, so the next book, the next books I read. I finally did it, guys. Are you guys proud of me? I finally read these 2 books, but we're gonna start with this one because it's the one I read first. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was hype. I really, when people were like, if you read this book, I have to stop saying like, I know, okay. When people said, if you read this book, you're gonna read the next one, because for those of you that have not watched my videos, Tessa Bailey, I really enjoyed Love Her or Lose Her. I thought that was a good book. I didn't say it was the best book ever, but I'm just saying that's when I started enjoying Tessa Bailey's reading. Let me tell you, Tessa Bailey has figured out, I wish I was related to her. I wonder if I am actually. Tessa Bailey has figured out the recipe to a good book. She has. She indeed has. She's figured it out. She has. So it happened one summer. As you already know, this is about Piper. I don't watch what this was, the show or whatever that people say Piper's character is about. No idea what that is. Have not seen it. Heard I should watch it. Have not seen it. So this is coming from someone that has never seen this before or anything. So it happened one summer. So Brandon and Piper. So this book is about Piper, and Piper has to, I know you guys already know this, but I'm gonna just say it. This book is about Piper, and she messes up. She kind of just like takes for granted like her money and her lifestyle. Her stepfather basically cuts her off, and he sends her to work at this dive bar that her actual father used to work at. And so it's like this area of like, they're like sea captains in a way. They hunt for crabs and like they love the water. They care about the shore, all of that. So she's forced to have responsibility. She's forced to learn how to cook. She's forced to do a lot of stuff. And I know that makes her sound like an airhead, but she is such a sweet character that I was like blown. I thought she's gonna be one of those people that's just like, oh my gosh, get over yourself. And I know there's parts where you could say that and you could be like, oh my gosh, you're so immature, like da da da. But it's the fact that she actually tries to learn stuff, and she genuinely tries to do stuff for people out of the kindness of her heart, and it just kind of makes you care about her as a character because she's such a nice person. So Brandon is not having it. He doesn't really get along with her at first, but he's not a grouch. He's not a mean character. As soon as he actually gets to learn who Piper is, he's actually really sweet, and so they both actually become very vulnerable and nice to each other. And so that was just nice to read about. 100,000%. The smut bar is like 1,000. Just saying. Worst I've ever seen it in Tessa Bailey's books, but I haven't read all of her books. But yeah, but I thought this was a good book. I really did. It's hard to put down. It was just quick. It was really good. I even tabbed up a little bit. Who tabs up a romance book? And so of course it made me want to read the second book. The second book is Hook, Line, and Sinker. Dare I say, because it's not focusing, dare I say I enjoyed it more than It Happened One Summer. I said it. I enjoyed it more than It Happened One Summer. I really did, because I genuinely felt bad for Fox. This is about Fox and, what's her name? Hannah? Hannah is like an aspiring actress, but she wants to get to the top herself. She doesn't want to have her stepdad kind of get her to the top because, you know, he has money and all of this. So she tells her crew to go, they want to shoot this scene or something. So she tells them she wants to go to Westport, but Piper tells her that Brandon's parents are visiting, and basically the only place that ends up being available is like Fox. So Fox actually genuinely cares about Hannah, and he doesn't just want to like be with her because he's like, I can't actually have a serious relationship. Like, come on, don't you know who I am? But he wants to be nice to her, and he's like, okay, like you can stay. I'll be, you know, like working, like I won't really be there. So Hannah is the sister of Piper, and Fox is actually the friend of Brandon. And I just, truly, Fox is a representation of a lot of men and what's happened to a lot of men because of their families. And I'm not trying to do that like boo-hoo, like da-da-da, but I'm just saying like it is so it was sad in a way. It was sad in a way. What? But I think I enjoyed this just a little bit more. This month is not 1,000, but it's still, it's a good book. It's a good story. Now on to my DNFs. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, wait a minute, one of these books, someone's going to say something. And I might eventually end up reading it, but probably not anytime soon, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Okay? Okay. So the first book that I DNF'd is The School for Good Mothers. Basically, she left her child by herself. And because of that, the neighbors or someone called the cops on her or something like that. Or they called the cops. They come and get the child. And she's just like heartbroken. She's so distraught because she's like, oh my gosh, like I only left my child for like a little bit. But it's like she left her child 15 minutes, then 15 minutes became 30 minutes, 30 minutes became an hour became 2 hours. It just became one of those things. And it was actually very, very sad, to be honest. But she was like, I just needed a break. I just needed sleep. Like I was just tired. So she talks about her child is a toddler, I believe. Maybe, I think. But it's really sad because everyone's just kind of looking at her like, oh my gosh, you're the most disgusting mother. Like, what was wrong with you? Like, how could you do that? Like, how could you say you needed rest from your child? Like, how could you say that you were exhausted? But they don't know that she's recently went through a divorce. Like, her husband moved her to the city where she doesn't really know anyone. She can't really leave because of the fact that going to court and stuff like that. He had an affair. He had an affair. He left her for the woman that he had an affair with, even though she tried to save her marriage. And this was while she had just recently had her child. And I'm not sure if she went through postpartum or not. She could have. But he's like leaving her, and basically he left her for kind of like a younger version of herself. And it's just really, really sad because the whole point of the book is just, I'm not saying this book wasn't needed. I'm just saying personally I could not finish it at the same time. Because it kind of became very, very repetitive. But I do agree with the point though. Basically there's all these expectations that she's supposed to do this, she's supposed to do that to be able to be a good mother, and how she kind of has like no worth if she's not doing what she's supposed to do as a mother to a certain extent. Listen, some of my friends just found out they were pregnant recently, and why was I trying to share to them parts of this book that I was reading, and it was just giving them like very, very like sad. It was making them, it's not funny, but it was making them very, very sad. They were just like, why are you reading this book? Like, it's not getting any better. It was just really, really sad, and I honestly DNF'd it. If you have read this book, please let me know if it was worth finishing, and please let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. Next book I have is everyone's favorite, and at some point I might finish this too, but I didn't finish it this month, and it's The Charm Offensive. And I know this is the book that every single person raves about, and I will be honest, I did get to at least the middle. Okay, and it's not that I didn't finish this book because I thought it was bad. It wasn't a bad book. In fact, if you guys don't know what this is about Dave and Charlie. I'm pretty sure you guys already know. But Charlie 100% confirmed that I no longer have crippling social anxiety. He 100% confirmed that. I would just like to say he 100% confirmed that I no longer have crippling social anxiety. He really did, because I actually really used to be like this in real life. I would run away from stuff because my anxiety was just so bad, and I really didn't like being around people, and it would actually make me super anxious and feel like I was gonna like pass out. So I really felt him. I really did. So this is about Dave. He's always believed in fairy tales. He recently just went through a breakup. He is a handler for Charlie, and Charlie is like this rich guy who's trying to basically gain his popularity back. He's trying to make himself seem as if he can still run his company and do what he needs to do, because him having such crippling anxiety has kind of made people think that he's not capable of doing anything. So he goes on this dating show, even though he's terrified of a lot of the things that he's having to experience. But he does it because he needs to get back into work, and he needs to do what he needs to do, and he wants to put it out there that he's capable of being able to work. So I haven't got to the point yet where he's actually gotten therapy or actual help. But I couldn't / I didn't get into this as much as I thought that I would. I need to move out. I really do. Anyways, I couldn't get into this as much as I thought that I would, but I probably am going to give this another chance. I did start reading Everything Wrong with You. Is that what it's called? I know you guys probably know what I'm talking about. I did start reading that book, and I also have a book that I made for Pride, a video that I made for Pride Month recommending books, so hopefully I will get to it soon. So that's all for the books I recently read this month. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please comment down below your thoughts and your opinions, because I really, really care about that. the most, to be honest. And hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Also, if I did not mention, I do have a vlog coming up soon reading my most anticipated release books. Hopefully I'll be able to put that together soon. I just have to actually finish reading